Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/bonfiresidechat. Over 100,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
Some of our landings were desperate adventures. We are now prepared to meet the inevitable counterattacks with power and with confidence.
My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name is Kole Ross.
And you're listening to Bonfireside Chat Appendix. It is an undead second favorite.
And this week we are talking about your responses to the finale to the Shrine of Storms.
Or the intro. We're talking about your responses to the beginning of the Shrine of Storms, not the finale.
No, 4-2 and 4-3.
Oh, yeah. Well, not your responses to the episode of which. That's what confused me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
There we go.
Never mind.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to edit this, so don't worry.
Yeah.
But
if you have responses to the episode about 2-3 and 2-2 and 2-3, it'll be on the next episode appendix.
Yeah.
For 5-1. If you have responses about that, it'll be on the 5-2, 5-3.
We play it fast and loose. I'm not quite sure where you're going. I'm just along for the ride.
I'm just trying to see how far I can take this without putting pre-tape call-in show into the show notes. As that's on the blacklist now. If you don't know it by now, then that's it.
You know what? There are a million strings attached to every decision we make.
That's also on the list. So, if you don't know that by now, I don't. And you don't have to like it. You just have to know what we're talking about when we say it. And that's it. So, 3 things are not going in the show notes anymore. And to be fair, I'm not going to put Lovecraft in anymore. I will put in specific monsters. So, yeah.
You know what? And just in concession to that, I will say you do have to like it because Synecdoche, New York is an amazing movie.
You should like it. You can only watch it once, though.
I would say it gets better every time, but only after 2 years.
Too sad to watch it. So
no, and I would say that the sadder you get, the better it resonates. Kind of like American Movie. Yeah. Which you do have to add because it has not been oversaturated. So put in the trailer, Gary.
I will put in individual Stephen King books, but we'll not put in just Stephen King too.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
it's fair. This is all fascinating to people who are listening. This is the stuff the dreams are made of.
I personally would like to thank Bob Mackey for joining us last week. Yeah, no, it was fantastic. He had to depart for personal obligations. However, we really appreciate it, and also his karaoke abilities.
Yeah, he's the best.
Yeah.
So let's just get started here. We have a little bit of errata from Take, and he says via contact, in the 4-1 podcast, someone was wondering about the bird theme in the Shrine of Storms. Maybe it's a reference to sky burials, also known as aims for the birds. If you're a rich moneybags hero, you get a tomb at the bottom of the level guarded by exploding will-o'-the-wisps. But if you're just a poor commoner, you're probably left outside to get pecked to death by Sparkly and the manta ray guys. It would explain all the skeletons running around.
Yeah.
And
so
we've talked about sky burials before.
Yes, we have. I forget which podcast it was, but sky burial is probably one of my favorite ideas.
It was all of them. I feel like we brought that up like many times.
Yes, we have. But it's the idea. So it originated in the Himalayas when they were above the tree line and thus necessarily above the soil line as well. So you can't bury somebody there without carving into the rock. And also birds support the ecosystem. So if somebody dies, you lay them out so that the birds can actually eat them and then produce what is waste or fertilizer for the rest of the for the rest of the area, as opposed to taking the energy to cart them down the mountain in order to bury them proper, right?
Yeah.
Or burn them, which again, we're above the timberline, so you don't have any wood to burn them.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm real into those kind of hippie, sustainable burial methods.
I don't even know that it's sustainable. It's just that it's practical, given it's this practical intersection between what we can do as people in this situation and also ritual. So it's justifying this stuff as opposed to what we can actually do without really hurting ourselves.
Well, it's definitely I guess the sustainability point isn't the main point of it, but it definitely is, where it's this kind of natural, non-destructive. Graveyards are kind of
Oh, they're wasteful.
You know,
they're
yeah,
like the worst things possible.
People who are listening to the show now, your kids will be the last generation to see them.
Oh yeah,
they're going away. Like, we will not give up land to that kind of thing in the future.
Right.
Our priorities will change as a species.
Like, now that we have the technology, turn me into a viscous oil and pour me down the drain.
Well, I like
However,
what is it called? I've recommended it before, I think, on the show. Mary Roach has a book called Stiff, which is excellent, and she's kind of an irreverent nonfiction writer, and it's all about death and the dead and what we do with the dead and how we've historically treated them, and it's wonderful. And she talks about in the end of it, and I've seen other references to it, and somewhere in Europe they're doing it where they turn you into, essentially, like, they freeze dry you and then pulverize you into a ground hamburger material.
Oh no.
And then use you as fertilizer for a tree. And instead of cemeteries, there are forests.
Yeah.
And this is your tree that you helped make live. Your family can visit this tree. It's got a little bit of you in it. That's so beautiful and great, and so much better than like a big hunk of rock.
The last innovation that I heard was like turning people into a dark viscous liquid that you pour down the drain.
Yeah,
which is like, just like do something to me that will not hurt anybody, which is like literally the highest virtue that I could imagine for anybody.
Right.
Given that our entire existence is predicated on suffering,
on hurting things.
Yeah.
And damaging the world and taking. Yeah, I like the goo thing too. And the only thing that stops me, because I mean I've been on the record, like, listeners of the show,
if you want Gary's skull, just write us in and I will give it to you.
Just write skull at 30 Rockefeller Plaza.
Pleasure.
Rockefeller Pleasure.
Rockefeller Pleasure is my stripper name, Gary. So
that's a good stripper name for just me being mushmouth and coming up with it. But you can do whatever you want to me when I'm dead. Like, fuck me, hold me, kiss me, kill me, turn me into a purse. I don't really care too much.
Turn you into a person?
A purse.
Okay.
Turn me into a Blankenstein. Like, anything can happen to me because I don't live here anymore. However, the thing about the drain thing is it might be rough on my loved ones.
Okay.
Whereas a tree, they would love.
Yeah.
So take every part of me you want, everything you can't use, turn into a tree.
Yep.
And then, my loved ones will have a place to visit.
I occasionally go back and visit every tree I've ever planted, Gary.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
So, thank you, Take. It's something that I'm surprised I didn't mention at the slightest provocation, given
Me too.
given my general fascination with anything to do with Tibet. However, I'm happy that we got to say it here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next section, which is just fun. And Gary, I don't know if you saw me posting about this on the Facebook page. However, I did participate in the Dark Souls 2 beta, and I want to know if you have any questions about it. I do not want to spoil anything. You don't want spoiled. However, I did talk about it on the level, Duckfeed.tv/the level. If you want to listen to that here this week, but this seems like an appropriate venue to talk about it.
Yeah, is it still? What is it, like the Hunter's Glen or what have you? Is that the same area that they've been showing?
Yes.
They opened up?
Yeah. So it's the I believe it's the Dead Man's Copsey.
There we go.
Yeah. Copsey, which it sounds.
Is
like
that how you pronounce that? I always thought it was Copes.
Copsey is how I've always known it. Which sounds like a Yes album. Which awesome from a lore perspective, because the idea is that anybody who is branded with the dark sign ultimately becomes game.
Ooh.
Yes. So everything I've read about this has indicated that in this kingdom where you're at, commoners who are undead become the most sought after game animals, because they just keep coming back and coming back, as opposed to foxes and whatnot.
That's good.
Yes. Yeah. So yes, it is the Huntsman's Copsey. There we go.
Not the Huntsman's. Copsey, the third album by. God damn it.
Mumford and Sons.
God, why did I forget his name? That would have been so good. Humpty Hump or
I don't know.
Digital Underground?
Yeah.
There we go. That's interesting. That's really cool from a lore perspective. I couldn't. So what happened with me trying to get into that was it said it downloaded, but then it got interrupted partway through.
Oh shit!
And then it won't let me buy the whatever the thing is you have to download to do it, because it says I already have it, but I don't have it. So I don't know if I need to create a new PlayStation account if I want to try to do that. I've been resigning myself to just playing it in March.
Yeah.
If need be.
I had resigned myself to that since I drank through the previous beta, but then I guess nobody got into it, and so they decided to do a do-over. And then Dennis texted me about 4 hours before the beta. I was like, "Hey, you staying up tonight?" And I was like, I'm just going to go to bed. He's like, "Nope, Dark Souls 2 beta." And so,
might as well.
Dennis from the level was the person who reminded me to not miss it again.
But also both times I've been. So the first time I was out at a Halloween party. Mm-hmm. The second time I was in Seattle with my lady friend. So real life keeps getting in the way of my video games, which is fine.
As well, they should. Yeah.
And I'm not trying to say you losers were in your Dark Souls 2 beta while I was out.
Oh yeah, no,
drinking with the New York Nets and partying with Donald
But
Trump.
That's our terrible team, Gary.
Yeah, but they know how to party. We went to the Humpman Cove, if you know what I mean. The Humpsman's Cove.
The Humpman Cove?
Yeah, the Humpman Cove. That's what we call Kobe after he's had a few. He turns into the Humpman. I'm just going to put in a show note that just says basketball.
I appreciate that. I'm good with that.
Yeah. But actually, I'm not going to put in a show note for that. Basketball is what I was talking about.
Please do.
Yeah. Basketball? Okay. Just in case you don't know what that is.
Well, it's for comedy value too. So.
Yes, no, there's a good.
It's not just educational. It's there's
a documentary.
There is a certain dissonance to the medium, since it is reference, but it's also humorous.
Is the beta, is it translated? So could you read all the item descriptions and such?
Yes. Okay. And the item descriptions were kind of one of the juiciest bits too, because the overall sense that I got was that this is so far in the future that things that I know as somebody who played Dark Souls and Demon Souls are kind of lost to legend. So to give kind of what I feel is a spoiler-free version of that, there is something that is obviously the black bow of Ferris or Ferris's hunting garb that is this once belonged to a famous hunter whose name is lost to history, right? And it's I know that's Ferris, but the game doesn't, right?
Yeah, they're going to do that kind of
pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
And then I guess did you get the only other real question? Because I've been watching some of the stuff too. The other question I haven't been able to get a beat on from watching things and reading things is: do you get a sense of where it takes place in the game, as far as how early an area it is or how late of an area it is?
So my character, I rolled a dual swordsman because I got the sense that would be the most mechanically changed class. However, that was incorrect because I guess sorcery and miracles are really, really different now. I was about roughly let's say 15 to 20, I would say, soul level. They could have overpowered me to just give that sense of demo empowerment that often game companies try to give you.
Yeah.
However, it felt like a dark root kind of area to me. Both in theme, in that it was kind of a woodsy cliffside area, but also difficulty that I was seeing. So, this could have been Undead Parish / Dark Root kind of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like a good place to demo it, because you're not putting down all your hands. And if it has the same kind of structure as a Demon Souls or Dark Souls, or Demon Souls were the second area of every hub, and then Dark Souls where the second half of it kind of has to be similarly difficulty leveled, because you can do it in any order. I wonder if they're gonna. That's something that I haven't seen touched on, and obviously they haven't released very much. But I want to know what the kind of structure is between the places.
Yeah.
So what was there, just a fog gate behind you when you started? What prevented you from going to other areas?
It was a fog gate.
Okay.
So there, you started by a merchant who was explaining a couple of different things about the lore of the area. Mostly what I said at the beginning, which was, this is, just a place where your folk are, just treated as a commodity, right? And also giving nods to the time shiftedness of it. But all of that could be somewhat irrelevant because of the time travel plot that has kind of been hinted at throughout the entire notion of the plot. However, there is something, in trying to explore. There's a fog gate that you cannot go back through. So I get the sense that this is not a trial area that they designed explicitly to
Yeah.
stress test the area. This strikes me as being genuine, and it has a lot of the hallmarks of Demon Souls, of Dark Souls as opposed to Demon Souls.
What that makes me think too is I wonder, if they keep doing betas and keep releasing that, I feel like somebody's going to figure out a way to get past that fog gate. And that's what happens.
Yeah, just watch
in video games. I'll be interested to see that if someone accesses any areas that are not meant to be seen yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting. I would love to play it. It just hasn't worked out that way. I'm keeping an eye out and trying to figure out a way to do it.
It's super inconvenient, at least for the Eastern time zone. Like I sat down and played it from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m., which is like far beyond when I am a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can hear a little bit more about it on the level if you like spoilers and stuff. But yeah, it's I would be surprised if they do some more of it, unless they find out that there were some stress test issues with it.
Yeah. Neat.
Yeah,
I eagerly await, and it's rapidly approaching. 3.5 months.
4 months, right?
Yeah. So definitely looking forward to playing that, and I recommend anyone listening check out that episode of The Level. Mm-hmm. Moving on to Demon Souls, aka Dark Souls 2 -1, Dark Souls 2, aka Demon Souls 3. We have responses about pre-taped call-in show, not in the show notes. So responses about 4.2 and 4.3. Josh Redding says via Facebook, Shrine of Storms is my favorite part of Demon Souls. I love the oppressive cliffside stormy atmosphere and bizarre enemy types. That being said, I didn't use the Thieves Ring for the longest time in 4.2 and ended up almost snapping my PS3 controller in half. The run through the crypts is the only part I have never been able to actually fight my way through. Every time, I always end up equipping the Thieves Ring and sprinting past the summoners and their Cyclopean minions. The Old Hero is my favorite boss in the game. The idea of fighting blind opponents has always appealed to me. Watch out for Josh. And the Old Hero is blind and also on fire. It's a bonus.
So, if you happen to have macular degeneration and also be clumsy with kerosene,
be careful of Josh.
Is not a person.
Yeah, be careful to him.
Yeah.
I appreciate the nimble bosses like the Old Hero and Allant much more than the Titanic ones like the Dragon God. Speaking of Titanic bosses, the Storm King is about as huge as he is grotesque. It is interesting to me that everything that is a deity is so unattractive. The Dragon God, the Storm King, the Old One. The beauty in them is their awe-inspiring power and size, but not at all in their physical shape, which is a sharp contrast to most real-world religions. I honestly think this is maybe the most depressing reality of the game, that even the divine is as hideous as the world that surrounds it.
Yeah, I fucking love that last paragraph of what you wrote, Josh.
Yeah.
And like maybe just a little bit more than I like that you're a new commenter, which it's awesome that somebody new is writing into us. But yeah, just that notion that there are these seemingly divine beings, at least according to their appellations, which are just grotesque.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that a lot. Reflects the world that's in, and that we keep teasing around like what the central question of Demon Souls is, and the thing that appeals to me is, is the world worth saving? And then the game puts you through the entire world. You get to see how shitty it is. Mm-hmm. You get to see these gods that created it, the things that are being worshipped, and then making the decision like, is this okay or not?
Yeah.
Like there's more to it than that. It's more complicated and there's more gray area, but that's the decision that's resonant to me.
Yeah.
And it really backs up that idea that these are the gods of this world. Like they're trashy flying tree tumors. And yeah.
And the Storm Beast and the Storm King, regardless of what you call them or, how possessed by a demon they are, they're forces of nature, right? Yeah. Like they are here to clean the cliff sides. They're the bottom feeders. They are what we pay $15.99 for every September at Red Lobster in order to eat, right?
Yeah.
Right? Just kind of like they serve a function that is.
So Cole eats a whole lobster every September 11th. in remembrance. 2 claws.
Never forget. A plate of fried and a plate of scampi, right? Me and Chris from those damn Ross kids, we go to. I'm not kidding. We go to Red Lobster to
Why
do
September?
all you can eat, just because that's when I'm usually home.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, they're a force of nature that is here and kind of subordinate to the church that is subscribed or ascribed a higher notion to them, right? Mm-hmm. And here is an archdemon, the highest of the high, that is taking advantage of that natural order.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very interesting. Good point, Josh.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. All right, going on, we have Ben here via contact saying, World 4-2 was the place where the true demon souls begins here was for me. The run-up through the relentless gold skeletons, those flying manta fuckers, and the narrow bridges over infuriating acid-vomiting snails tested my patience and my ability to apply lessons that the game had been teaching me up to this point. Nice little story rewards like freeing Saint Urbane and reuniting with everybody's favorite perfectly legitimate family-owned small businessman, Blige, kept me from being too despondent. But meeting the old hero was a moment of wow for me. That was in quotes. The entire run-up through up until now, up until his confrontation, has been training you and encouraging you to use the Thieves' Ring. And the fight with him is the payoff. And just when you think you can relax, the fog gate leads you towards the first archdemon you are likely to fight, as well as another fun Elric reference, the Storm Ruler Sword. Great, great, great. I love this game.
Yeah, is that first archdemon you're likely to fight?
Yeah, that's kind of weird to me.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Just
not for me.
We kind of established that this is the hardest, it's the reverse Mario syndrome, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe the exact Mario syndrome where the levels are harder than the boss themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I end up fighting the Dragon God at the very least sooner than this because he's skill equipment and level independent, and you want the Red Hot Demon Soul.
Yeah, so of 2, Dragon God, 3, Old Monk, 4, this, and 5, Maiden Estrella. Maybe that's true. Like maybe the Dragon God is the most likely, rather.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though if you've only done the 2 levels, going here you're going to be kind of under leveled for the level sections.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So you're still going to want to do at least a little bit of 3. Like I could see being maybe the first archdemon if you're doing a little a la carte kind of action. But yeah, I fought this guy. I always fight this guy a little bit later.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thanks, Ben.
Yeah.
Sean via contact says 4-2, fucking 4-2. 4-1 is a breeze, as I did this area last for some reason. My dragon longsword managed to do good damage to the weird skeletumblers, and the Lickitung went down without complaint after I fired a few arrows into his bird hat. Even the Vanguard seemed incredibly nonplussed about being arrowed repeatedly in the face, preferring to stand stock still instead of, actually doing anything. But 4-2. It's definitely the most attempts I've had at any video game level ever. The first spooky death and his buds, no problem. Then the skeleton bottleneck was okay. They were clearly pretty bummed out, preferring suicide over fighting me for the most part, even though the gold guys at the back brought their A-game and repeatedly smashed it into my skull a few times. But the next bit, those respawning glowing pricks that bore a weird resemblance to the focus group stupidity of the London 2012 Olympics mascots. I'm going to have to look that up. I don't remember that.
Yeah, it looks like Lisa blowing somebody. It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Oh, that is Lisa Simpson?
Yep.
Huh. Okay. Well, I haven't paid attention to the Olympics for 33 years, and I'm not about to start now, Cole. These Lisa blowing people kept catching me mid-run. I'm not used to rushing in a Souls game, preferring to slouch around a level and gradually draw off monsters with arrows and bully them when they're on their own. But they kept respawning, again and again. Or if somehow I'd get past them, I'd fly off the edge in a mad rush for their death dad and get caught by a laser beam in the back. My bloodstain repeatedly disappearing due to skeleton issues and growing frustration, I banged my head up against this fucking run. I must have done it, no joke, over 50 times, gaining nothing but a big 99 capped pile of soul remains that might have actually helped me if I thought about using them. Whoops. But then, finally, it came off. I sprinted past them, whacked Death off the cliff to reap himself silly. I was finally done. Thank fuck. I've been here literally for hours, yelling at the TV like someone with a gastric band watching a man versus food. But it was finally done. Then, that invisible cunt stabbed me in the back, and I tumbled off the cliff to become a big wet pile of bones. Fuck. Postscript. I don't even remember beating the bosses. Everything is a bit of a blur. The real Demon Souls started here, and it kicked my ass. Great game, though. Yeah, the invisible cunt. They ran into the invisible cunts.
Yeah,
I didn't know it could stab you off of a... I guess it can stab you off of a cliff in that first area.
Yeah, it puts you into that animation, right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. So aside from some of your turns of phrase, which I really enjoy, you're in good company. I mean, Bob notably also spent the most time here, right?
Yeah. I don't remember where I spent the most. I mean, I feel like I spent more time in the Valley of Defilement on my first run through of Demon Souls, but this is definitely second.
Valley of Defilement, like 5.1 or 5.2?
5.2.
Yeah.
Specifically, even though 5.1 is really hard. Like that doesn't, everyone complains about 5.2, but 5.1 is actually really tough.
Yeah. It's also on this like vertical level, like even above and beyond this one.
So long.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah.
Yeah. And moving on to Jeremy via contact, not Jeremy Greer, but we value you still. The final battle against the Storm King is one of the most satisfying in any of the Souls series. After suffering through 2 levels of those annoying fucking mana rays taking pot shots at you on narrow ledges, the time for vengeance has come. My first playthrough, I was using easy mode as a sorcerer and soul arrowed my way through, but using a melee build and unlocking the true potential of the Storm Ruler changed my game. Not since using Fierce Deity Link in Majora's Mask has the feeling of badassitude so completely overwhelmed my sense, leaving me a cackling to myself on the couch as I slashed thunderheads with each strike onto my sworn enemies who fell mercilessly at my feet. Even though it has its use in PvP, it is without a doubt one of the best single-use weapons in any game, and one of my favorite memorable Souls games experiences.
Huh. So I guess the Storm Ruler is used in PvP?
I guess I've never, ever heard of that. I assumed it was only a PvE use item.
Yeah, just here for special things. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
Look that up. Here's a gamer confession.
Okay.
I never got very far in Majora's Mask, and not far enough to know what he's talking about.
You know what? It's actually not. I can't blame you for that, because you do have to get every single mask in Majora's Mask, and
that'll never happen.
Yeah. So for for me, because Majora's Mask is my favorite in the 3D Zelda games. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, Fierce Deity, awesome, great, I love that. That is like the crowning moment here. If you haven't gotten to that, I cannot blame you for not understanding it.
I've never actually beaten Majora's Mask. I like what it is going for. Mm-hmm. I like the mood a lot. Mm-hmm. But I just got frustrated playing it. I don't really like the 3D Zeldas very much. Like even Ocarina of Time, which I like, but I don't love. So,
right. I won't pretend to be able to convince you to like 3D Zelda. However, like Majora's Mask for me was, as somebody who liked Ocarina as something that approached a 3D version of what a 2D Zelda could be, this was like, oh, this takes it above and beyond that in a really weird and somewhat objectionable way that I am willing to pursue.
I know a lot about it, and I respect what it's doing, and I made a lot of progress into it. Mm-hmm. So I just never had the strength to beat it. I was just kind of sick of it by the end.
It has kind of weak dungeons, like the Goron and the Zora specifically. Yeah. Like if you can get beyond that, it will win you over. However, I cannot blame somebody for not be willing to get beyond those. I
never found it that fun to play. Like I liked the mood and the oppressive kind of aspect of it, and I didn't even the kind of Dragon Quarter-ness of it. The restarting stuff like that didn't bother me. I just didn't find it that fun to play.
Right.
And that got in my way. So, I mean, it's not that long. I should just buckle down and beat it to get through the narrative, which I actually like. But at the time I played it, which I was maybe 21 or 22, like I just wasn't having enough fun, navigating it to want to play it.
I have a particular emotional attachment to 3D Zeldas in that, like, I was really, really sick when I first played Ocarina of Time, like to pneumonia, and just like it was kind of questionable whether or not I was going to be healthy for the rest of my life when I played Ocarina, and then seeing that and seeing how dark and weird and ostracizing and alienating it got. Majora's Mask was definitely worth getting through for me personally.
One of the things that's true, so I replayed Ocarina of Time when they put out the 3D remake.
Right.
And I like that game. I don't like it as much as Link to the Past, but I do like it. One of the things I think is something that's overstated, but is still a problem. Like, it's really a cliche to bag on Navi. I fucking hate Navi, though.
Right.
Like, it's a cliche, but it's so bad. It's so fucking bad. It's like really annoying, and just having this like impish presence in your ear constantly telling you what to do and what to look at. Yeah. Like, it's, I understand needing to have a like essentially a mouse, right, to like focus your fire on. I get that, but just having the way that they articulated it is just, there's no charm to it, and there's just no, I don't know, man.
And in Majora's, like, at least to my recollection, and it's been about like maybe like 3 or 4 years since I played it, Navi plays such a diminished role in it that's like, good. Yeah. That if you were turned off by that, Majora's Mask might actually be the experience you're looking for.
Yeah, I need to go back to it anyway, just because I am really fascinated by what it kind of did mood wise, and even the 3-day cycle I like.
Yeah, weirdness, man. Weirdness accounts for so much.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
hey, I'm gonna round us out here with Allison, who says via contact, 4-2 has become the bane of my existence. I recently started the long uphill climb of trying to get all the trophies in Demon Souls. God help you, sister.
Oh, good God, Allison. What?
I did it for Dark Souls, so how hard could it be, right?
What?
I was attempting to get the Master Slasher trophy, which you get by fully upgrading a weapon with the Blade Stone. This requires finding a pure Blade Stone, which of course can only be obtained as a super rare drop from the Black Phantom dual katana skeletons. The easiest way to get one of these is to farm the skeleton that spawns near the entrance in Pure Black Tendency. It took me about 15 hours of grinding him before one finally dropped. The best part of the story, though, is that as soon after, I was trying to level up a bit and went to 4-2 to farm enemies near the entrance. The first time I killed a Black Phantom skeleton, he dropped a second Pure Blade Stone. If anyone else needs one, let me know. That's very kind of you, Allison.
Yeah.
You're a better woman than I.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started doing that. I started doing a Dex run of this game and quit when I read that online and turned it into a quality build. Just because that's fucking obnoxious.
Yeah.
Pink tail.
Like even above and beyond that, like going after every single trophy, that is one of the more insidious things about this kind of metagame nature that has been brought in by modern consoles. Keep in mind, I'm generally positive on what that does for people. Like, hey, achievements can teach people how to play a game and then, lead them towards like, here's a little bit of what the developers had in mind. However, with the Souls games specifically, I have not treated it like a Rock Band game, like I normally do, which is like, let's go after all of them, specifically because I know that has a deleterious effect on what you can experience with these games, right?
Yeah. Like, I could see wanting to see the weapons just to see you want to play with them.
Right.
So you want to try to get the different weapons, but the difference between a +9 and a +10 Bladestone weapon or whatever.
So minuscule.
Yeah.
Right.
So like in Dark Souls, like I think it's getting all the rare weapons is the trophy. Yeah. And I can see that. Like, I want to see, and there's tons of them I haven't used. Like, I've never used the Cursed Sword of Artorias. I wonder what it's like. I've never done it. I probably never will. But I can see the curiosity for it. But this, with all the like ridiculous myriad upgrade paths, I just see this being like a huge headache. Like, I'm not trying to criticize how you're enjoying the game,
Yeah.
It's not for me to do it. And it's a testament to how much you love the game that you're willing to play through large stretches of it again and again in order, that are only marginally different in order to kind of get this slightly different experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that. I don't mean to diminish that at all, but it's not for me. Like,
even above and beyond that, like, at least in Dark Souls, it becomes how you approach a given boss, where it becomes a clear articulation point about, your strategies and your approach to a particular thing. Whereas in Demon Souls, it kind of looks like just, do you know to do this thing at the start or not? Right?
Yeah, kind of. You don't, like, a lot of these choices, like, she's not doing. What do you mean by at the start?
Oh, no. I just mean, like, do you know to go after these things? Whereas boss fights in Dark Souls are these, like, okay, here is where your decisions about how to approach this fight matter.
Oh, gotcha. Like what you're going to use the soul for to make it into a specific. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
and there's a little bit of that
so
in this
it's like getting Priscilla's tail versus getting Priscilla's soul and using it to turn into a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
In either way, like, it's a little bit more dedication than I have.
Yeah.
And again, I love these games. It's probably 15 hours is a long time, but I get it to a degree.
Yeah.
And I can't. I figure as much as I'm generally kind of against achievements, like, I can't really speak because I've 100%ed Binding of Isaac, so I wanted to get all those and did. So, I'm a hypocrite. Invalidates everything I've ever said.
No, it doesn't.
I know.
Fear of being a hypocrite stops us all from being as good as we can possibly be.
Yes, so. I agree. I was being sarcastic.
Okay,
I hate the argument that any amount of hypocrisy invalidates everything anyone ever says. Like,
and therefore you agree with Merlin Mann, you hypocrite.
Yeah,
sorry.
I guess that's true. I don't like Merlin Mann, and I agree with him about that.
So
there are only specific aspects about Merlin Mann I don't like. There are probably lots of things I do like about him.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So Allison, thank you.
Imagine
so much.
a little angel Merlin Man on my shoulder and a little devil Merlin Man on my shoulder.
Which you completely disregard.
And one of them is just...
one of them is me, and the other one is the person that you listen to. Okay.
Well, you got me. Well played.
Oh, man.
Well, I'll shut up.
It's fine, don't worry. So thank you, Allison, for writing in. In addition to that, we also had Tanner write in via the contact form who talked about the relation to the Fierce Deity Mask. It was pretty much just like, hey, this thing reminds me of the Fierce Deity Mask, which two people had already reminded us of. So I want to still recognize you for your contribution, even though two other people already did that.
Yeah,
and
it's
I
so
want to
obvious
appreciate that.
We didn't notice it.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
There's still time to talk to us about the 5.1, the Valley of Defilement.
Yeah.
You go to duckfeed.tv/contact. Next episode, we didn't know at the last episode who we'd be joined by, but now we do.
Uh-huh.
We'll be joined by Dennis Furia of The Level.
Yes.
Furious Furia.
A cool dude who doesn't afraid of anything.
Yes, he doesn't afraid of anything. By any stretch of the imagination, Dennis is a cool dude. He's actually a super nice guy, and you've heard him on The Level and heard him on Bonfireside Chat last season, and he's great.
Yeah.
And by way of admin stuff, go to duckfeed.tv/tipjar. Use the Amazon referral link. Go to the store, buy our premium episode of Watch Out for Fireballs and my album, Super Mario Lab, The Stoic Club. Check out Hexcrank, which is Cole's survival horror blog. By the time you listen to this, he'll have his second article about, it's not Haunted House, but it is, what is it? Ghost House?
Ghost Manor. It might as well be the same thing.
Yes. There's Haunted Houses. There's Ghost Manors.
Yep.
There's Geistenstall Emporiums. There's, there's spook firehouses. There's, gas dog houses.
Yes.
All these for the Atari 2600.
Yes. But if you're looking for things that are not terrible, check it out, Comrade, rather.
Yep.
Which is a fantastic show between Gary and Nick Glauber.
Yep, with occasional guests from the network. It's an indie game show, and we just do 2 games, tell you what's cool about them, and get out of your ears. Or else stick it and forget it. And then me and Kole do some shows. Watch Out for Fireballs, Abject Suffering. This Bonfireside Chat, in case you don't know about that. And then Kole does The Level, which you mentioned that Dennis is on, and Those Damn Ross Kids, which is a general video game show, a little bit, probably the most zoomed out of the shows we do.
Yeah.
But better for it in that they can cover a lot of material in one episode. And also it's the only source for news on the network. Right. So if you're interested in what's going on with these brand new consoles you've been hearing about, that is the place for it.
Fun fact, the most recent episode, all of us declared our apathy. So.
Oh, great. Welcome to the winning team, guys. It's been a little while, but thank you. You've arrived.
You know what? It's not even the most recent episode. It's the most three recent episodes.
Good.
So.
Good job, guys.
Yeah. But
you guys weren't that super psyched about Killzone Revolution or whatever the fuck that. It's so stupid.
That was a 2009 PSP game. Revolution was. It's Killzone 4 that you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Killzone. Yeah. What's the subtitle? Revelations, Revolution,
Rising,
Revengeance, Rising. Is that really it?
No, I have no.
Okay, it might
idea.
as fucking well be. Stupid new
games. I express so as of recording the most recent episode, I express a little bit of hope as regards the technical potential vis-a-vis Dead Rising. Just in
Dead
terms
Rising
of
looks fine.
Yeah, no, not even that. Just hey, last generation, we thought not too much. But then Dead Rising came out and said, oh, we've got a bunch of stuff we can do by putting more enemies on screen and et cetera on down the line mechanics. Maybe we have that in front of us vis-a-vis Watch Dogs, right?
Something I also read something neat about a new console thing. It's pretty rare that I will say something neat about the PS4, but on Thief. I read in US Gamer, the thing with a light meter on the controller. That's great. That's really cool. So there's on the PS4 controller, there's just a little ambient light that glows on and off because aesthetics. Yeah. And in Thief, that's your light meter, and that's really cool. I love that.
Yeah. So also NBA 2K14. If the Kinect hears you shouting a swear word, they will put your player in a penalty box.
That's more cute than anything.
A little bit.
It's cute, though. Yeah. I think that what's going to happen, and this is not an original opinion, I've read this elsewhere, but what I'm seeing leads me to believe it, is that Nintendo's going to step back and take this holiday season. The Wii U was a joke because it came out too soon, and they're just going to quietly put out good games while, Sony puts out Killzone, Rising Lucian.
Yeah.
And
do you think it's going to be the Wii U or the 3DS? Because I think the 3DS is
the 3DS has already been doing that. The 3DS is great.
Yeah, I think that the 3DS is going to increasingly increase their margin, just because that. Aside from the PC and the PS3, is the system I've been playing the most of.
It's so
Phoenix
good.
Wright Dual Destiny. Holy fuck, guys, that is so good.
I haven't played that yet, but I've been. I'm going to get the new Zelda. Get the Link to the Past thing, and then
that comes out on
Pokemon.
Comes out on my birthday, I believe. So
what a nice coincidence.
Yeah.
Somebody get that for Kole for his birthday. It's the 3DS is just killing right now, and it reminds me of the fucking Sega versus Nintendo console wars of the mid '90s, where it's I only really care about who's putting out good games, guys.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that's going to matter, And the interesting thing about 3DS is it's kind of one of the only places where an exclusive title makes sense anymore. You can do a title that has a certain amount of modesty and scope, and you can do something that plays with the 3D in a way you can't do with a PS3 or an Xbox game, which sometimes will be exclusive, but there's not very much reason for it to be exclusive.
Right.
So yeah, it's neat. It's I'm happy, I'm happy Nintendo's gonna be killing it.
Yeah.
This time. And that's my own proclivities as well. But
I think it, to people who listen to this show, they kind of care about where the next Souls game is going to come out. And that's not going to be for a little while, at least 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And so you're paying attention to what has the best online connectivity, and
which is always going to be a PC though. is the thing. Like, that's always going to invalidate those two things. Like, if you want to play on the couch, I get it. But the PC is always going to be a third option for that.
True. But I'm just kind of curious about what's going to win out over, Xbox versus PlayStation.
Yeah.
Right. Just given that the PC is the least mature of the officially supported infrastructures, right? And I'm just kind of curious about where that's going to happen, and all of that.
I'm curious.
Curious. All of that just kind of has a bearing on what will be the most successful in the future, right?
Yeah, it does. It does. I think that like indie, like the humble bundles and these kind of indie sales and stuff. Like, I can't imagine this not being like, it's already we talked about it in the last Watch Out for Fireballs, like what a golden age for PC gaming this is. I can't imagine that just not getting better and continuing. What's going to get in the way of that? And then if you want to play in your living room, like Steambox is coming out. Mm-hmm. So I see dark times for Xbox and Sony. And I can't see it working out well for them.
I anticipate a struggle and a conflict between the dropping prices on PC as relates to the development costs as compared to the rising development costs of consoles, Xbox and PlayStation, as compared to what they're selling them for. I think that neither model is sustainable, and whatever creates the most fertile ground upon which consumers can actually find the things they want to buy is going to be the most interesting place to be. And so for like for me, since we've made this the airsats, like who's going to win in the next gen, punditry kind of thing, like it's going to be a battle between the PlayStation 4 and the Steam box, right?
Yeah, maybe. It's still hard for me to think of, PlayStation 4 taking it. Yeah. It doesn't seem to make sense to me.
Yeah.
It's such a, like, the PC is so attractive to develop on for just about everyone. It's a higher investment, but it's so, and if that's what you get from the Steam box bothers me because I can't transition over to it, but then I just have to keep remembering it's not for me.
Like you can't
kind of can, but you can't directly.
You can't transition over to it because anything that is developed for the Linux, which is what's going to run on the Steam box, is already runnable on your primary gaming machine.
Yeah.
Right, so like it is a foregone conclusion for you.
Right, exactly.
Right?
I understand that, and this applies to all of this conversation. Where if somebody if like the Game Gear 2000 came out, I would actually have a vested interest in the new console wars. Like as is, my Steam backlog at the very least it keeps me tied to this as kind of a platform.
Yeah.
For me, and just the lack of, pretty much my interest in the PS4 is hearing you tell me whether Everybody's Gone to the Rapture is worth it.
Yeah.
And that's what I want, and that'll happen during a Watch Out for Fireballs extrasode, and I'll nod and smile.
Yeah. It'll happen in a Watch Out for Fireballs extrasode like 6 months from now because I canceled my pre-order. It's not even here. Like they delayed Watch Dogs, and I was like, well, nope. So
I was thinking about that feeling you get from getting a new PC or a new console, like how it's it's fun to do so, and it made me think that like for Christmas, if I wasn't getting kind of a reverse paycheck from my where I work's insane vacation and closure policies, I might pick up a Wii U because it's fun to get a new console. Mm-hmm. There are a couple of games on it I want to play. Not very many, but I have faith that there'll be at least a couple of them that I want to, And it's like there'll probably be. I'm still anticipating some kind of price drop.
Yeah.
Before Christmas because they're going to be strategic about it, or getting a 3DS XL. Like just to scratch that opening a box itch. Like this is a better, bigger experience for what I already have.
Yeah. So that's a quandary because I love my 3DS XL. And I
just have a regular coming gutter 3DS. Yeah. It's an Ambassador, which is pretty rad. Mm-hmm. But
so I've only ever played a Wii U via people at work who've brought it in on a game night. Mm-hmm. But I cannot tell you which now would be the better way to go. Granted, I've only ever played Wind Waker HD. And not the Mario 3D Land, which I understand is the current killer app.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it would maybe be fun to buy a new thing. Is I guess my only point.
Yeah,
and that's what if I were to buy a PS4 for some reason or a an Xbone, that would be what that'd be the itch I'd be scratching.
My compass is, when the Xbox 360 came out, I got it at launch, and I purchased Perfect Dark Zero and Condemned, one of which is one of the worst games I've ever played, and one of which is one of the not best, but like one of my greatest experiences ever playing a game. Yeah, Condemned is a really awesome survival horror game. However, not worth dropping $400 on the console over.
The interesting thing too, so my 360 was engendered by because I wanted to play Rock Band.
Oh wow, yeah. So
and that was worth it because that was the way to get that experience at the time. Like the 360 version of Rock Band came out before the Wii version. I had a Wii because I wanted the virtual console. That sounded like the best thing in the world to me.
Yeah.
And it still does. I still love the virtual console. But I wanted to play Rock Band. And now, there's just not I want that mechanical, I need a thing for it. And Rock Band was a huge thing.
Yeah.
As a Rock Band addict, you understand how life-changing that is as a game experience.
No, for my birthday this year, I am thinking of throwing a Rock Band party at work.
Oh, that sounds, makes me wish I live in Cincinnati. I would be all over that.
We've established how good I am at karaoke, Gary. So,
or will establish later in this episode. I like you in karaoke. The one thing that's funny about it is that karaoke, when I go to it in public, I find that people tend to be too quiet. Uh-huh. I think that you are 10% too loud for it. So it's I don't think you're singing bad, but you sing a little bit louder than them. I think you just need to turn up the music or turn down your voice. So sometimes it was just kind of hilariously passionate.
It's the only time I feel things, Gary.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say it's bad. I'm just trying to. It's the one thing that was funny about it.
Yeah, no, it's that shook something loose in me.
Yeah, it's fun, man. That I also have a. I didn't want to say it. I was feeling bashful in front of Bob, but that is my greatest memory of the Portland Retro Gaming Expo.
Yeah,
not just because of Bob, but everybody hung out with. Brandon and Miranda were really fun to hang out with, and then Jenny is great. And it's nice. My point is, it's nice to make friends.
It is, yeah, It is a distinctly human experience, letting yourself be vulnerable in that way.
Yeah, it's very nice. So for everyone listening, if you have the chance to make friends, do it. It's recommended. It's better than 100 demon souls.
Oh man! So we haven't actually concluded this episode, Gary.
Yeah, we should do so. Thank you for listening. I think we talked about all the admin stuff.
Yeah, we have.
There. So until next time, what should they watch out for, Cole?
I am an incredible trouble. Please recommend this message.
Yeah. So the world might be mended.
Umbasa.
And we all pray that we will have far more soon.
It's funny how I can tell where you're at related to Roars's meowing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I ended up I forgot that I had put on laundry. I needed to switch it, or I was not going to with clean clothes tomorrow. And then also Roars knocked over some stuff, and I was like, oh, it is actually time for you to eat. So.
Yeah. Nobody respects laundry tasks more than I, so.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's been, and my laundry is due. I have 3 pairs of underwear that I consider to be emergency underwear, and they are all emergency in a different way.
Yeah.
So these ones, essentially, they're bright silver. They look like, I don't know, Elizabeth, they're men's underwear, and she bought them for her Space Girl costume for Halloween.
Okay.
And they look like, boxer, like a pugilist shorts.
Yeah.
And but they're really ostentatious and embarrassingly shimmery. And then I have a pair of way too tight biker shorts. And then I have a pair of boxers I've had for so long that the crotch is worn down to the point where they are literally a loincloth. Like there's no connective tissue.
Oh no!
It's a skirt, essentially. And those actually, that didn't used to be a skirt. The last time I wore them, they turned into a skirt, and that was it. Like I was like, okay, you made it to the garbage now. But I'm on. So what I'm saying is I'm on pair one of two emergency boxers.
Okay.
So I need to do laundry that bad. I've worn every other pair except for two.
Yeah. I won't say I've never gotten to that point. However, I believe in mathematics in terms of managing my life. And so I have 7 black American Apparel 50/50 T-shirts and 14. Let's see here. Just I forget what brand they are, but probably like Fruit of the Loom dark blue underwear and 21 pair of gold toe socks that I keep in rotation. And yeah, that keeps me honest. Yeah,
well, it just means you have to do laundry once a week. Whereas last weekend I was in Seattle and I couldn't do laundry.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, this is
what I'm giving up. I'm gaining in flexibility and
yeah.
So I understand the appeal of running your life like a spreadsheet. However, I also understand the appeal of not doing so. So it's not a game of EVE Online, Cole. You don't have to play it like as such.
I completely understand. However, I'm not espousing the virtues. I am just saying this is what I have found has worked for me. Let's say 51 weeks out of the year.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like Sunday, you just you clean the toilet, you clean the shower, you do your laundry.
Yeah, I usually have a regular day for laundry too. It's just every once in a while stuff will come up, and then also crippling depression. So for me, like the first thing that goes is cleaning. So I don't take any joy in cleaning. And
the first thing that doubles up for me is cleaning. So.
Yeah. What's the first thing that goes?
The first thing that goes is talking to people.
There you go.
Yep.
That goes for me too. Even though I don't talk to people that often other than like work or podcast stuff.
Uh-huh.
So, the first thing that stays is, video games.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll get depressed and just play video games, but cleaning really takes a back seat.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I just, I take an ecstatic joy in bringing order to the world around me.
Cool. How you been?
I've been on.
Wait a minute. You said cool. How you been? No, it could have been Cole. How'd you been? Cole, how you been?
Cole. Did you say cool or Cole?
I said Cole.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah. I've been fine. I'm getting ready to go home tomorrow to celebrate birthdays.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Just in general, like the fact that we're blessed with them, or specific ones.
So weird thing about
birthdays.
Yes, to birthdays, to all of us having been born. No, weird thing. My entire family, except for Chris, all of our birthdays are in November, which means we love fucking in February.
Yeah, your parents decided to spice it up one year.
Yeah, no, like for real. I'm going home to celebrate my birthday, my mom's birthday, and my dad's birthday, and my niece's birthday. So, yeah.
I feel like that's a no offense to your family, but isn't that a Vulcan ritual? Like they only read every 7 years or whatever.
Oh, like
particular season.
They only pick the most like intelligent specimens, and it's like a month-long bacchanalia.
Yeah, and I think there's also murder involved, but I'm not big on my Star Trek knowledge, so you're asking the wrong guy.
Nor am I. So I will take everything you say as truth.
And I'll stand back and pick off the winner.
You realize that makes it sound like you're going to fuck my mom, right, Gary?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I never say anything without realizing it.
Okay.
Cool. I'm your dad now.
Oh, man.
It's a nice boy you got here, Miss Rocks. It's a pretty good boy.
So,
who else would like to say how they are doing?
I kind of miss the snow, actually, like in the way a hostage misses his former captor.
I would like to have just one day a year that it's like an Illinois winter, and everything would shut down. I wouldn't have to work. I could just look at it for a day.
Yeah,
it's so pretty.
I was freaking out earlier this week. We got 2 inches of snow. I woke up at 4:30 a.m. to somebody scraping their car windshield. Hearing that sound outside my apartment, I was like, oh God, the last time I drove when there was snow on the ground, I got in a horrible accident. and that did me grievous bodily harm. And so,
I think scraping your car is the world's most miserable activity.
Yeah.
It's really up there, especially if you don't have a scraper and you have to use like a credit card.
Oh God!
God.
Why would you, like,
I've done like credit card without gloves.
A scraper is like, oh, good God, Gary.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
A scraper is like $1.
Well, I wasn't at a store
Okay.
at the time. I didn't have a scraper.
Yeah.
So, I was at my home.
Yes, I know.
So, yeah, which also didn't have a store set up in it.
Yeah.
I guess I could have just Amazon Instant like a scraper, but if you lived in Oregon, if you get 2 inches of snow, everything shuts down. Like we don't, or 1 inch of snow, or a half inch of snow, or if it looks like snow, or if it's a cold rain. We more or less will shut down for any of these reasons.
Well,
so
That's kind of like... go ahead, Cole.
You see, Cincinnati is basically the South, so the same thing happens down here. I'm just the only person asinine enough to drive in it. So like Mansfield, like I came up in what is basically the frozen norths. So if it's less than 6 inches of snow, I'm going to get on the road. God damn it! But otherwise, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, Northeast Ohio was like that. It was total lake effect. 2 weeks of school every year were missed, which is great. I have so many good memories of not going to school and playing video games all day.
If you didn't have extra days tacked on in June, you felt cheated.
Oh yeah. Forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. Good times.
Yeah,
good times are. I'm doing fine.
Mm-hmm.
And
Cool.
just keeping on.
Yeah, same here. I really enjoyed our time at the Portland Retro Expo. That was a great.
As did
Yeah,
I.
me too.
con.
Yeah, me too. That was an awful lot of fun.
Yeah.
So-
I'm super happy with how the panel turned out.
Me too.
Yeah.
We need to send you the link, actually, to that because that is now up and live and available.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember it's premium or whatever for you guys.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So I can go ahead and I will do that here during the show. I just have to.
Oh,
pull
awesome!
It up.
Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I appreciated it. Like the karaoke night has been like that was probably one of my favorite memories.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
totally rocked ass, Cole.
Thank you. I'm very proud of my singing.
I was actually kind of intimidated by your performance.
Well-
Luckily, I was drunk, so it didn't matter. But...
As was I, so don't worry. So I don't.
Oh yeah.
I
Well,
don't-
that will give you instant courage.
Exactly. Yes. But
Like, should I be drinking more? What's the secret?
yeah, so if you will recall, I did break a glass before we got up to sing "Loser" by Beck. So,
Oh, that's right. Okay.
yeah. And I felt shitty about it. I was like, oh no.
You know, I
Threw me
don't
off.
remember, so you shouldn't feel bad.
Okay. But yeah, the whole thing was freaking great. Yeah.
Yeah, awful lot of fun. I miss it. We'll do it again sometime, guys. Let's all meet back.
10
1 year.
years.
Yeah, 10 years.
Whether or not the event is still going on.
Yeah. We'll all meet, and whether that is still a karaoke place, I'll bring
It'll be
a
like some
boombox.
Christian Businessmen's Association meeting. Like, what are you guys doing here?
We're here to sing Collective Soul. You're gonna love it. So
It'll be me singing that Bjork song instead of Miranda.
Oh,
man.
that was a great performance
That
too.
was so good. Like I was just
Yeah.
caught off guard by that.
that's in one of the finest karaoke performances I've ever seen. So, yeah, she's great. They're really super fun people. Like I've hung out with them a couple times now that I've met them and realized that they live so close. So went haunted housing, which was fun.
Oh, nice.
I've heard you talk about that. I'm jealous because I can't handle haunted houses.
No?
I don't know what it is about me. I just don't like being in a situation where I'm not like I don't have it. I don't like roller coasters either, so that could be just
Oh, yeah.
related to it, I guess.
Is it the immediacy?
I think so. I'm also a very neurotic person, a very anxious person. So like, I don't know. I know it's not real. I know there's no real like spooks and demons after my immortal soul, but I still don't like to be touched or grabbed or scared.
Well, the thing about it is, like, even though there are no spooks and demons, there are like maladjusted teenagers and meth heads who happen to be the most likely people to be, employed at those places. So like I had a very sweet spot after high school, but before I became completely insane, where I really enjoyed haunted houses to the most of their potential. But now I realize that. Now I realize that fact about it.
Yeah, they won't touch you. For the most part, you gotta go to a better trained haunted house.
Yeah.
Talk to old man Jawillikers and get him to
This
Get on
is
HR.
not based on experience, however. So
I should note, though, that I used to be afraid of everything as a kid. I only just started liking scary movies when I was in my mid-20s. So I'm slowly coming to terms with horror. But now I'm so super addicted to like horror novels, horror movies. So
Yeah,
I'm
it's
overcoming
the best.
that.
yeah.
It's great. This year, Fright Town, which is the one I like to go to, it's 3 haunted houses in one, and the one of them, is fairly weak. Is just this kind of zombie, nonsense that didn't make very much sense. But they did a Lovecraft one this year, which made me really happy, and they did a really good job of not just having shit jump out at you. Like there were a lot of like you'd go into a room and there'd be something subtly wrong with it, and there'd be no teens in there. It would just be oh wait, this is wrong, and you'd feel a little bit creeped out. And then move on to the next.
The closest I've come to appreciating something like that is like art installations where they're an entire room and it's sort of like you don't know what to expect. It was actually kind of horror related in a museum by my undergrad college. They recreated the room chase from Evil Dead. I think it's Evil Dead 1. So they sort of recreated the room that Ash was chased through, and then once you get to the end, there's the video of him being chased by the demon, and from the movie. So it was a pretty cool experience. I wish I knew who did that because it was a great sort of an environmental art piece.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing, more or less in anything or artificial environments like that. Like last year at PAX, Arcane did a thing for Dishonored where they recreated the Lady Boyle's mission.
That's so cool.
It was great. What is the name of that Pixel? What is the name of the San Francisco art collective that does the I Am 8-Bit?
Yeah, that's right.
They did it, and everything was just great. Like the masks were really good, and it was interactive. Like there was kind of a game to it of figuring out who it was, and that's pretty much my favorite thing. So
I think we talked about this for the Gone Home podcast, but I would love to see that made as an art installation. Like they rebuild the house, you can go in, look around. I don't know how that would be feasible or at how much money that would cost, but that would be like my dream sort of experience.
Yeah.
What was the Nickelodeon show that wasn't? It might have been Legends of the Hidden Temple, but where you're looking through the artificial environment.
Thinking of Finders Keepers.
I'm thinking of Finders Keepers. Yeah, that was my thing for when I watched that show. Was I just wanted to explore the set.
Yeah.
I didn't want a time limit or to have to find anything. I just wanted what are all those books? What are they called?
We're going way off topic here, but I had the same sort of attraction to department stores that would have fake rooms set up.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was an entire part of Kaufman's or JCPenney I would go to with my grandma. It would be like an entire labyrinth of fake rooms, and I would just love to go in them. And I don't know why, it was just an attractive idea.
Yeah, it's like I get a little twinge of that whenever I go to an IKEA nowadays,
Oh,
where they
yeah,
have the fake room set up. Obviously, it's a little
Lowe's.
bit more sterile. Yeah, but just this is obviously some kind of public theater that's set up. There's a notion of set design to this.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I'm wondering what the appeal. Is it my brain? There's something wrong with my brain. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just so interesting.
To me, whenever I feel that notion, it's that part of me when I was young that felt just intrigued by the notion of hidden passages. Which again, Gone Home kind of tickled that for me, and it's probably one of the reasons why Young Frankenstein is one of my favorite movies still. Put the candle back, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm pretty into any time you can see something that's ordinary in an unusual or off context like that. So the thing I like about those Lowe's and IKEA kind of fake room setups is, it's framed within your vision like a picture, and then you just kind of step into it, in a way that you can't or will. Yeah. There's an implied barrier that is totally permeable. That's just really kind of fun, and you can just walk out of it at any time too. I realize I can walk into and out of a room,
right.
Just it just feels different because the lack of walls, more or less.
Yeah, they've depicted the mundane. How amazing, but I mean, we have the internet. There has to be a community for this. I'm part of the fake room community. I'm a roomer.
we have to find the people who don't get boners from it, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Community is only
sexual.
one step removed from fetish. So. Yeah.
Damn it, internet! You did it again.
Yeah. Did you ever play, Bob? We talk about it sometimes on the show? Did you ever play Vampire Bloodlines?
I haven't. I've wanted to, but just how old it is kind of puts me off because I feel like there's going to be a lot of bullshit that was eventually sort of figured out in the time since it's been created. But is that true? I didn't listen to about it.
Semi-true.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not without kind of sharp edges.
Yeah.
Like, I
there's
have problems getting through Deus Ex, and I know it's a phenomenal game, but there's like a weird mental block, and a lot of it's just like the GUI is tiny, and I can't get it any bigger. But I don't know. I still want to go back and finish it, but
it's more friendly than Deus Ex, but a worse game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, and I really love both those games. Like, it's not quite as phenomenal, but it is more friendly than that. Patch it until it glows. Like, just do all the recommended patches. Find the something awful thread for it.
Yeah.
There's a haunted house level in it that I want someone to make a video game that is just non-threatening haunted houses, because it's so good. Like, it's really really well done, and you're never in danger, and it's just really fun to explore it. Like, I kind of think that
sometime.
Yeah, it's really good.
In reflecting on that for Hexcrank, deciding whether or not to add that in to the to the experiment, like the Semiche mansion where they have like the crazy flesh stuff, that also kind of counts for that. There's a little bit more danger to it, but yeah, like there are at least two of those areas that are incredibly environmentally unsettling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Definitely kind of high points and just like interesting. That kind of environmental storytelling stuff.
Yeah, same thing with Thief 3 and the Cradle, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I haven't played it, but even I that's pretty famous for a game level.
Yep.
Yeah. The game is too long.
House of Leaves. Yeah. I will wave that banner wherever is possible.
I'm putting a moratorium on putting it in the show notes. It will never end up in another show note that I write. So
okay, so I will
it can't appear like 30 times, and
so I will just go in and add it myself.
That's fine. Like, I'm not going to stop you.
I know,
but I'm not writing that combination of words and letters again.
Oh man,
if you don't know House of Leaves by now, or know what we're talking about, you don't even have to know the story if you don't know what Cole means by House of Leaves.
Every day somebody is born who hasn't read that book. All right, so
that's true.
So yeah, man, scary stuff. I love scary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The next article is going to be a real downer because I fucking hate this game.
What game is it?
Ghost Manor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What is that for?
So it's my survival horror blog.
I did
What is
read the
Ghost
Haunted
Manor
House one that you wrote.
What's
I like that.
Oh, thank
I did
you.
read. Oh, sorry. Yep.
Sorry, it took me a second to catch up. Yeah,
no.
Haunted House is Atari.
What is Ghost Manor?
Ghost Manor, it's pretty similar. It was published by Xonox, Xonox, and it was part of a dual cartridge.
The Scientology God Zonax or the publisher?
The publisher.
Like,
The anxiety medication.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, I wish I had Xanax still. But no, Xonox. They published their primary thing was towards the end of the Atari age, putting out double-ended Atari cartridges.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah, which was 2 games for the price of one, so it was the cost of one single cartridge. However, it would be like one game on one side, and then you would flip it around, and it would be another game on the other side. And Ghost Manor is some fucking bullshit. So,
Did you not to carry this on any longer, but did you play the XBLA remake of Haunted House?
Remake? No.
Yeah, there's an XBLA. It's really bad. I mean, but you can play the demo. That's really all you need to play.
Huh.
Was that part of the arcade, the misguided? What was it, like faux arcade that they did, or is that like an actual...
No? This is an original, just an original title you can download,
like an XBLA thing.
Yeah, just like any other XBLA game.
Huh. Yeah, no, I've not heard about that. That might be worth a supplement kind of thing.
Cool.
Yeah.